All right, are we ready to get started? Why not? Let's get rolling here with our verb warm-up for today. If I can find the proper, oh, here's Alejandra, let her in. Let me find the proper folder here. Okay. All right, let's see here. Let's try this again. Okay, here we go. There we go, verb warm-up. Okay, ready to roll. All right, let's see what we have here. Warm-up 5-5. What do we have here? Jack, an accounting class since January. Since January, that's one of our keywords from level 3, right? Present perfect. So what are we going to say?
Has been taking.
Exactly, has been taking. Or has taken, right? Both would be fine. I prefer has been taking because he's in the middle of the class, right? He hasn't finished the class yet. All right, now the next one we have something that's interrupted. It says here, when it started to rain. When it started to rain. What can we say there? Was playing, right?
Was playing.
Past continuous, good. Mr. Smith was playing golf when it started to rain. Now, the next one's a little bit tricky. It says tomorrow, but we have to read carefully because over here is a passive verb, right? What time is the game scheduled? So what do you want to say here?
Will be begin.
But we're not going to use will because we have a passive over here, right? Is the game scheduled to begin, right? Passive plus infinitive. Right? Remember, we always use an infinitive when we have a passive verb. We'll talk more about passive in the future. So we have a whole bunch of lessons coming up on that. So we'll be able to revisit the passive. But if you remember from level 4, my 5s and 6s should remember that whenever we have a passive verb, we use an infinitive in the main verb. So for example, all students are expected to do their homework. All right. So this one, the game is scheduled to begin. Dislike is the next one. Again, we're going to use a gerund or an infinitive. Which one do you like?
Gerund.
Gerund, right. Dislike plus gerund. Remember, like can be both, but dislike is only a gerund. All right. The next one is about Jason's sister and how well I know her. So what should we say? No conozco, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Exactly. I don't know her very well. Now this one we're going to talk in more detail about today, but back in level 3, we learned what we call first conditional, right? Where we have if and we have will. Over here we have will. We will need more chairs. So what do we want to have here? If there
Are.
Exactly. Possibility in the future. If there are. Okay, here's another student. Yarin is here. Okay, very good. Let's see. The next one says last week. A question about last week. Last week's going to be present or past?
Past.
Past, of course. So what do we say?
Did the students?
Did the students, right. Did the students
Finish.
Oops, yeah. Did the students finish their test on time last week? Did they finish? Now the next one, again, if you're a level 4, don't worry about this one, but if you're a 5 or a 6, you should know this one, right? We have a van as the subject. So what should we need? Passive voice.
Passive voice.
So,
Was watched.
was washed. Exactly. Next one, we have that word lately. Lately means from the past until now, right? So what can we say?
Have
been.
Are.
Have been, right?
Have been.
The soccer games have been very exciting lately. Have been. All right. The next one, we have it's important.
To
Remember, whenever we
To
have
see.
an adjective, what do we want to have after that?
To see.
To see.
It's important to see.
Mhm.
It's important to see your doctor, your dentist regularly. It's important to see. Number 11, we had at the end of level 3. Remember, we have a time clause. Even if we're talking about the future, we already have will over here, right? So I don't need 2 wills. What do I want instead?
I'm going.
After I
I
have,
have.
right?
I have.
After I have.
I have.
Remember, present and future are the partners. That's going to be very important in our lesson today. Present in the adverb clause, future in the main verb. Yeah, check back. That's I believe chapter 10 in the no, wait a minute. Chapter 10, yes, it's chapter 10 in the level 3 book. Let's see. The next one has the question usually. Usually. Do you, right? We always want do you with usually. Which newspaper do you usually read? Do you usually? Oh, and teacher made a mistake here. I spelled already incorrectly. Let me put that already in there like that. All right, so it says here, Mr. Phillips and the contract, and we want review already. So what can we say?
Has already
Has already
Has
reviewed.
already reviewed. We always want to put the already between the has and the review, right? The next one says, we went to Mexico last summer, but before that, again, this one's going to be for my 5s and 6s. We haven't studied past perfect for the 4s yet, but 5s and 6s, what do we want there?
We hadn't gone.
Exactly, past perfect. We went to Mexico last summer, but before that, we hadn't gone there for many years. Hadn't gone, past perfect. Number 15, enjoy is the verb. So what can we use as the
Reading.
gerund or infinitive?
Riding.
Gerund.
Gerund.
My kids enjoy riding their bicycles around the neighborhood. Enjoy riding. Excellent. All right. Mrs. Green had a heart attack while. There's that keyword while. Remember from level 3, chapter 8?
Yes.
While she was working.
Was continue.
Past continuous, right. While she was working in her yard. Number 17, not yet. Not yet. We haven't painted. Very good. Oops. Haven't painted. All right. Let's see. The next one, we have no subject. So what can we do with no subject?
Returning.
Exactly, gerund. Returning to his hometown was a wonderful experience for Alejandro. Returning. All right. The next one is a how often question. We remember that one from level 2. How often what?
Do you use?
Do you use? Exactly. How often do you use this piano in general? In general. Do you use? The next one says not yet. Not yet is going to be what?
Haven't drunk.
Haven't drunk, right?
Haven't drunk.
Yeah, and remember D-R-U-N-K, right? Drink, drank, drunk. We need that U for the past participle. Again, this is one we're going to talk about today. We have that word if, it's a conditional. So what can we say here? Will get.
If
So
he
If he
applies.
applies,
if he applies, exactly. Jack will get the job if he applies for it. If he applies. Very good. All right. The next one is a how long question.
Mhm.
how long have you,
How long have you waited?
waited?
And again, we could go two ways here, right? We can say, how long have you waited here? Or how long
Have you been waiting?
How long have you been waiting here? The next one has a number, right? Twice today. Remember when we have a total, what can we say?
I have
Feeding?
fed.
I have
Have
it.
fed, exactly.
Have fed. Have fed.
Have fed. I have fed my cat twice so far today. Have fed. Present perfect. Have fed. And the next one says, when Mr. Harris, he will tell you. Again, we have will over here.
Mhm.
So
Make.
Makes.
What's making?
when he makes.
Makes.
Now you could possibly say has made, but simple present is fine.
Teacher, but and that question is not a present continuous?
No,
Mm,
because we have future over here.
It's time clause.
Oh, okay.
It's the future time clause.
Oh, okay.
And the next one says planning. Tomorrow
To
afternoon,
chop.
we're planning. We're planning what?
To chop.
To shop.
To shop. I don't think so. Not tomorrow afternoon, right?
Mhm.
No shopping at the mall tomorrow.
Yeah, no. Next week, maybe.
Next week, maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
Mhm.
We'll see. Hopefully
Yeah.
we'll be back in business soon. But so far, still staying home, right? But they said
Yes.
that maybe like flower shops or something can open up, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let me stop the share for a second. See who we got today. We have Saul and Alejandra and Maria, Tomomi and Jari. Welcome, welcome everybody. Nice to see everybody.
Good morning.
I hope you had a good weekend. Was your weekend okay? Staying
Yes,
home,
pretty good.
sitting around,
Yeah.
Eat all day.
watching Netflix. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Eating.
Eating food,
And sleeping all day.
sleeping
Yeah.
all day.
Eating and sleeping.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I see, like I said, I see that some of you are working very hard on those Connect with English videos. I appreciate that. Like I said, we're going to do some writing, and we're going to use those videos as the basis of our writing. So you're going to have, so if you watch the video, you won't have to do a lot of work once we do the writing assignment, because you'll say, oh, I've already seen that video, so I just need to write the assignment. I don't need to watch the video and write the assignment. So
Yeah. How many video we need to watch this?
well, you as many as you can, but the writing assignments are going to be in the early part, so don't worry. You don't have there are totally 48 videos.
Because I saw your post a new video to until like 24 something like.
Yeah, until now right now there are 18 lessons, right? And every day I'm adding more and more. But by the end of the semester, they'll all be there. But again, this is something that is beneficial to you, but again, it's an optional thing. But there will be certain videos that I'm going to want you to watch for the writing assignment. So I'm going to say, like, watch episode 3 and write about this, right? So so that's going to be coming up here. I'm going to give you your first assignment on Thursday. So you'll do it over the weekend, this weekend. So like I said, we're going to try to do 3 writing assignments in May. And then that will be, so this week, the end of this week will be what, May 7th or something like that? Today's the 5th, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so on the 7th, I'm going to give you an assignment. I'm going to give you an assignment on the 14th, an assignment on the 21st. So 3 writing assignments we're going to do. And they'll all be based on those Connect with English videos. So the more you watch them, the better off you'll be when it comes to writing those videos, writing the assignments, okay? All right.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
I can try. I can do lesson 11. Comprehension is a
Lesson 11?
yeah.
Let me investigate. It could be that there's a button that's not pushed on the lesson 11, but thank you for letting me know. Let me double check it here.
Thank you.
Let me see here. Connect with English. You said lesson 11 is a problem?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. Connect with English, number 11, comprehension. Let me see. Oh, you're right. The button is not pushed for that one. Thank you for letting me know. Let me fix that right now.
Thank you.
If I can open it. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. In my phone is 2.
What, number 11?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Yeah. As this activity is
it.
not currently accepting submission.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just fixed it.
Yeah,
So,
me too. Yeah.
yes.
So, see, we need to do only that video, or we need some.
Well, there's you watch the video and then there's the questions afterward, right?
Yeah, I did, but I meaning some like reading, grammar, or something like that. So we need to do another thing or not?
No, like I said, there's going to be a writing assignment that I'm going to give you on Thursday.
All right.
Yeah, but for now, it's just watch it and answer the questions, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But like I said, we're going to start using those for the writing assignments shortly. Okay. Good. Okay, so that's fixed. So let me make sure it's fixed on all of the levels here. Thank you for your patience here. I want to fix this right now so I don't forget. So today we're going to talk about conditionals. And for some of you, this is a big review. But for others, we haven't talked about conditionals very much, especially if you're a level 4. Let's see. Do we have any level 4s in the classroom today? Let's see. I think everybody's level 5 or 6 in this room, right? I think so. Okay, that's fixed. And let me check one more here. Gotta make sure all the number 11s are fixed. I don't know why that one was broken. This Schoology page doesn't make it very easy for teachers, I'll tell you that much. All right. Because there's lots of little buttons you got to push in order for it to work. All right, very good. Okay, back to business here. All right, hello again, everybody. All right, so that Unit 11 test is ready to go. Okay, so like I said, today we're going to talk about conditionals. We were introduced to conditionals for the first time in level 3, at the end of level 3. And if you remember your level 4 test, for those of you who already took the level 4 test, in level 4 you had to know the first conditional. But today we're going to look at the difference between first and second conditional. Some of you have already studied this many times. It looks like most of my class here today is not level 4, so this will be a review lesson for us. So we could probably go through it pretty quickly. But it's always good to remember, because the first and the second conditional, what we sometimes call the possible and the imaginary conditional, are only different based on the situation, right? There's nothing in the world that is different in the grammar except for the situation and what I think of the situation. So let's talk a little bit about, I haven't done anything in Schoology because my email doesn't work to open the website. Okay. All right. So we'll send me a text after class, and I'll help you with that. Because you're probably making a mistake with the email. Do you have a password, Saul?
Okay. Yes.
You have a password, and did I give you the password?
Yes. At school. Actually, I am working in other website and accounting, for example, and I didn't have problem with this email, but I don't know why I couldn't open the website with that email.
Is it the LAUSD email?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I will give you a message after class. Okay. I will help you with that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to turn off everybody's microphone for a second, and we're going to jump right into the lesson here. All right. Can everybody still hear me? Yes. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yes. Good. No problem. Yes. Okay. Good. All right. All right. So let's begin. Let's talk about conditionals today. All right. Here we go. And open from beginning. Okay. All right. Can everybody see the first slide? Yes. No problem. Everybody sees it? Thumbs up, please. Yep. Thank you. All right. All right. Here we are. Conditionals. Habitual, possible, and imaginary. Miss Aguirre is going to talk to you about the third conditional. So I'm going to talk to you about 0, 1, and 2. There are a total of 4 conditionals, right? So let's talk about this together. Here we go. Let's dive right in. Using the words if and unless. If and unless, right? Those are our conditional connectors. Sometimes in English, we want to talk about things that might happen depending on the situation. And they're working in the next room, so I hope it's not too noisy. We call these sentences conditionals. Here are some examples. If I don't eat breakfast, I always get hungry in the morning. I'll be happy if Melanie comes to the party tomorrow. If I had a boat, I would go sailing every weekend. Right? All of these are conditionals, but they're each a little bit different. And if you notice, the grammar is a little different. I wouldn't buy that car if I were you. Right? All of these are using the word if, but as you notice, the verbs are just a little bit different in all of them. I will quit my job unless I get a raise. All right, let's look at the form. In this lesson, we're going to talk about 3 basic conditionals. First, we have the habitual conditional. What does that mean? That means things that we do regularly. The condition happens again and again and again and again. And my reaction to the condition happens again and again and again. The possible, sometimes called the first conditional, is for future actions, right? Things that might happen in the future, right? But it depends on the situation. Something might happen and we have to make a plan for it. And finally, the imaginary, or sometimes called the second conditional, which is for unreal actions. In other words, things that are just imagination in our heads, not real situations. So each of these requires a little bit different verbs. So let's take a look at them together. First, the habitual. Habitual is the easiest one because it follows the basic rules of English grammar. What's the rule of English grammar? If you have a general situation, use simple present. Well, that's the rule here. We use this when the condition happens regularly and is usually or always followed by the same result. Example, and we're going to use if, simple present, then simple present, which makes sense. Like I said, what do we use in habitual situations? Simple present tense verbs. I usually go to bed early if I feel tired. Go, feel. Two simple present tense verbs. I'm never late if I catch the 6:30 bus outside my house. Present tense, present tense. If I need help, my sister always helps me. Again, two simple present tense verbs. If it rains, I always bring my umbrella with me. So again, we don't spend a lot of time on this one because it's just so logical. It makes sense. It follows the rules of English, right? When we have a present tense verb, we're talking about a general situation, something that happens regularly, right? So if present, then present. If present, then present. That's called the zero conditional, or sometimes the habitual. The possible or first conditional. Now, what's this one? We use this condition when the condition might happen, right? The condition is possible. So, and what are we going to use? If, simple present, and then will, and the base verb. This is the one we learned in level 3, at the end of level 3, chapter 10, in the level 3 Ventures book. What do we have? If it rains tomorrow, I will bring my umbrella with me. If it rains, I will bring my umbrella. Present and will. Present and will. Now, in a way, this again follows the rules of grammar that we've learned so far. Because what do we learn about after and before and when and while? We're going to use simple present with all of those, aren't we? The next one says, the teacher is going to be angry if I don't do my work. Again, we can use going to. We don't have to use will. Going to is fine if we're more confident in what we're saying, right? And again, here's a negative over on this side. Notice if can be at the beginning or if can be in the middle. If we leave now, we will be on time for the movie. If we leave, we will be. Present and future. Present and future. If I save enough money, I will buy a car next summer. If I save enough money, I will buy a car next summer. So that's the first conditional, right? Notice when the word if is in front, I use a comma. And that's true with all of our adverb clauses, right? When, while, until, after, before, all of those clauses use a comma if we have it in the first position. All right, some variations. Sometimes we use might or can instead of using will, right? Might or can tells me it's not so sure. It might happen, but we're not positive. Example, if I have time tomorrow, I might go to the mall. Maybe, I'm not sure. I might do it. I might do it. All right, the next one. If Henry can pass his math class, his parents will be proud. If he can, if he can. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. But if he can pass, his parents will be very proud. Will be. If you drive too fast, you might have an accident. Not for sure, but it's possible. Not for sure, but it's possible. If you eat your veggies, you can have ice cream for dessert. If you eat, you can have. So sometimes instead of will, we'll use might or can. Instead of simple present, we sometimes use can in the first part. If I can pass the test, I will be happy. All right, so those are the variations, might and can. Now, the second conditional is the one we learn in level 4. The one we learn in level 4, the second conditional. We learn it for the first time in level 4, but it's not on the test until level 5. In level 4, you just have to know the first conditional. In level 5, you have to know the second conditional. All right, well, let's take a look at it. When do we use it? We use this form when the condition is not true, or we don't expect it to happen anytime soon. It is just our imagination. It's not true. It's just imagination. It's something I'm just thinking about. I'm just thinking about it. I'm not doing it. I'm thinking about it. So let's look at some examples. If, simple past, then would, right? Present and will, past and would. Present and will, past and would. Example, if I had more free time, I would do more exercise. That's what I said before this quarantine started, but it hasn't happened. I thought I would do more exercise, but I haven't done more exercise. I said, if I only had time, I would exercise. Not true. Now I have time and I still don't exercise. I would travel around the world if I won the lottery. Is it possible to win the lottery? Sure, but we don't expect it, right? We use this simple past when we don't expect the thing to happen. I don't expect it. If people drove less, there wouldn't be so much air pollution. If people drove less, there wouldn't be so much air pollution. Is it going to happen? No. But hypothetically, it's possible, right? But the truth is people drive, so we have air pollution. Or if I didn't have to go to work today, I would go to the beach. If I didn't have to work today, I would go to the beach. If I didn't, I would. Again, past tense and would. Past tense and would. And this one happens to be negative, right? If I didn't. Variations. Remember, we can also use might and could with this conditional. And we're going to see some examples from the book with might and could in it. Right? When do we use might and could? When it's not so sure. It's not so positive. Right? It might happen, it could happen, but not for sure. Examples. If I had time tomorrow, I could go to the mall. Maybe. Maybe. It's possible. If Alicia studied more, she might get better grades. Not for sure, but right now she gets pretty bad grades because she doesn't study. Maybe she would get better grades. If you took the bus to work, you might like it. Who knows? Who knows? You might like it. If I could go anywhere in the world, I would go to India. If I could, I would. If I could, I would. If I could go, I would go. Very good. Important. Important message. Right? What are we talking about? Be verb. Remember this from level 4. Whenever we have the be verb, we have to say were. We have to say were. If I were. If you were. If he were. If she were. If I were you, I would try to find another job. If I were you. If I were you. If Karen weren't so busy, she would take a yoga class. If she weren't so busy, she would take a yoga class. Again, actually, she is busy, but if she weren't so busy, she would take a yoga class. She's too busy for the yoga class right now, but if she weren't so busy, she would take a yoga class. If today were a holiday, you would see a lot of American flags, right? It's not a holiday today. We don't have a holiday until the end of the month. The end of May, we have a holiday. It's called Memorial Day, right? So on Memorial Day, you do see a lot of flags. So if today were Memorial Day, if today were a holiday, you would see a lot of American flags. But it's not. It's just imagination. My wife and I would travel more if we were retired. Again, notice this were. It doesn't matter if it's we or it or she or I, it's all were. We never say if I was. Now, to be honest, many people get a little bit lazy about this rule. And you'll hear people say, if I was you, but to me, it sounds bad, if I was you. And to most native speakers, it doesn't sound like good English. If I were you. If I were you, this is what I would do. If I were you, I would do this. If I were you, I would do this. All right. The end. If you come to the class every day, your English will improve. That is true. And that's a possible conditional. All right, very good. Okay, I'm going to turn on everybody's microphone again. Let me unmute everybody. Here we go. All right, no problems.
Yeah.
All right, hello everybody again.
Hello.
All right, do you remember all that? I mean, most of you are 5s and 6s, so you should
Yes.
recall most of those rules, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
present and will, past and would. Sometimes we use could and can and might, right? Sometimes those three words come in as well. But let's practice a little bit. Let's practice a little bit. I'm going to make a sentence that is cause and effect. And I want you to make a conditional that is the opposite. So for example, let me show you what I mean. Let me open the board up and give you an example here. All right. So I'm going to make a sentence that's cause and effect. For example, I won't go to the mall because it's closed, right? That's cause and effect. But, you know, in our condition, what are we going to say?
I will not go to the mall.
Hold on,
If-
hold on.
If
I would go, oops.
Would I go to the mall?
I would go to the mall if what?
If
not open.
we're open.
We're closed.
Or if it weren't closed, right? Right? So I won't go to the mall because it's closed, but I would go to the mall if it were open. I won't go to the mall because it is closed. But I would go to the mall if it were open. Okay, everybody get the idea?
Yes.
All right, let's practice a little bit. Let's practice a little bit. Let me, do you have, everybody has that written down or need some time?
Yes, please.
Yes, okay, no problem. All right, let me stop the share then. Okay, here we are. All right, let me start with Alejandra.
Okay.
I won't eat the cake because I am on a diet. I won't eat the cake because I am on a diet. All right?
Okay. I could eat a cake if I don't have a diet.
If I weren't on a diet, right?
Mhm.
Right? Because I said I am on a diet, right? I am on a diet, right? So I would eat the cake
Morning, I'm sorry.
if I weren't on a diet,
Mhm.
right? Let me write it on the board. Let me write it on the board so everybody can see it, right? Here we go. All right. So again, we have a condition and a cause, right? Cause and effect. I won't eat the cake because I'm on a diet. Right? I won't eat the cake because I'm on a diet. Hi, Jenny. And the condition?
Good morning. I'm sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
Eat.
I would eat the cake if I weren't on a diet.
Okay.
Right? Everybody see the change?
Yes.
The first one is real.
Mhm.
The truth is I won't eat the cake because I'm gonna be a good boy and stick to my diet. I won't eat the cake because I'm on a diet. However, that cake looks really delicious. I want to eat the cake. And I would eat the cake if I weren't on a diet. I would eat the cake if I weren't on a diet. Would and were. Okay? All right. Good. Okay. Let's try some more.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
can I say if I didn't had a diet?
I didn't have a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. We usually don't say I have a diet. I usually say
It's the verb to be.
it's usually the be verb. I am on a diet. I am on a
Okay.
diet. All right.
Okay. Mhm.
All right. Let's try Jareen. Jareen, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's see. I won't call my sister because I don't have my cell phone right now. I won't call my sister because I don't have my cell phone.
I would call to my sister if I were.
Now we want past tense, right? I say I don't have my cell phone, so we want past tense.
I would willing.
But remember the verb is have in this case.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my
Exact.
cell phone.
If I had, right? I have.
There you go.
My telephone.
If I had my cell phone, right? I would call my sister if I had my cell phone. I would call my sister if I had my cell phone. Let me write that one up on the screen as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because the first two we used, notice the verb here. What was the verb? Be verb, right?
Be verb.
Yes.
So that's why we used were, right?
Okay.
We have the be verb in the first one, so we use were in the condition, right? Be verb and were. But the one I just gave you, Jareen, let's look at that one,
Don't have.
right? The cause and effect was, let me see here, cause and effect was, I won't call my sister. I won't call my sister because I don't have my cell phone, right? That was the real statement. But I want to call my sister. So the condition is I would call her if I had my cell phone. I would call her if I had my cell phone. Notice what do we have here? In this case, we have the verb is have, don't have, and we changed it to simple past, had. So I am changes to I were, but I don't have changes to if I had. Right? I won't call my sister because I don't have my cell phone. I would call her if I had my cell phone. I would have her if I had my cell phone. Okay? All right? Ready for another one?
Yes.
All right, let's try another one. All right, let me stop the share here and go to, let's see, Tomomi.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. I won't buy that car because it costs too much. I won't buy the car because it costs too much.
I would buy car if it didn't cost too much.
Perfecto, perfecto. She would buy the car if it didn't cost so much, right? All right, let me put that one on the board for everybody to see. All right. All right, our cause and effect is, I won't buy the car because it costs too much, right? I won't buy the car because it costs too much, right? We have won't and simple present, okay? But our condition is what? I would, but you could say, could is fine, Alejandra, but I'm using would here for all of them. I would buy the car.
If.
A car. Now again, this one is simple present affirmative, right? So we're going to change it to negative. If it didn't cost, and usually in a conditional I use so and not to. I would buy the car if it didn't cost so much. Right? I want to buy the car. I want to buy the car, but I can't. So I wouldn't buy the car if it didn't cost so much. Okay. So far, so good? Let's try another one. Let's try another one. How about Maria Pulido?
Yes, teacher.
Let's see. I won't cook spaghetti because I don't have any noodles. I won't cook spaghetti because I don't have any noodles.
I would cook spaghetti if I were any noodles.
I said I don't have noodles. I don't have noodles. So if I
If I,
This one is similar to Jareen not having her cell phone, right? What did
yes.
Jareen say? I would call my sister if I had my cell phone, right?
Mhm.
So this one is I would cook spaghetti if I
Had.
had
noodles.
noodles, right? I would cook spaghetti if I had noodles, right? Again, let me write that on the board so everybody can get clear on these examples. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to erase the top one here. Okay. So here we are again. I won't buy, oh, I won't cook
Yes.
spaghetti
Spaghetti.
because I don't have noodles. I won't cook spaghetti because I don't have noodles.
I would.
But what would I do? In fact, I want to cook spaghetti. So what do I say in my mind? In my imagination, I say, I would
cook
cook
spaghetti
spaghetti
if I had noodles.
if I had noodles. Right? I would cook spaghetti if I had noodles, but I don't have any noodles. I have the spaghetti sauce, I have the tomatoes, I have the garlic, but I don't have the noodles. I would cook spaghetti if I had the noodles. I would cook spaghetti if I had the noodles. I don't have noodles, so I can't cook spaghetti. I don't have noodles, so I can't cook spaghetti. All right? All right, let's try another one. One more, and then we'll do some listening practice and then look at conditional in the book a little bit. All right. Jenny.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
I
I'm gonna give you a sentence and you're gonna change it to an if statement, okay? Okay, so here's my
Okay, sure.
here's my sentence. I won't go to bed because I want to watch this TV program. I won't go to bed because I want to watch this TV program. Won't go to bed because I want to watch this TV program. Okay?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what can you say?
I would go to bed if I would go to bed if they don't have the program.
Right. I would go to bed if I didn't want to watch this program, right? I would go to bed if I didn't want to watch this program. Let's again, let me show you that on the board, and then we're going to practice a little bit more in the conditions. All right, let me do one more text here. So I said to Jenny, I won't go to bed because I want to watch this TV program, right? That's the truth. That's the reality. But in my mind, I'm a little sleepy and I want to go to bed, but I decided to stay up and watch the show. But in my mind, I say I would go to bed if and remember, we always change affirmative to negative. If I didn't want to watch this TV program. I would go to bed if I didn't want to watch this TV program. I would go to bed if I didn't want to watch the show. Okay? Más o menos?
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes.
All sentences are third conditional,
These are all second conditional.
second conditional,
Yeah,
imaginary.
they were practicing the imaginary conditional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. remember the first conditional is when you, for example, let me give you a perfect example. I'm going to erase the bottom one here. Get my eraser out. Okay. So let's take this example with the spaghetti and the noodles. Okay, let's say this is a situation. Maybe I have noodles, but I'm not sure. So it's a possibility. I haven't checked the cabinet. So what do I say to myself? I will cook spaghetti if I have noodles. See the difference?
Mhm.
In the first case, I know for a fact I don't have noodles.
Mhm.
In the second case, maybe I have noodles, maybe I don't. I'm not sure. Right? If you're not sure, you're going to use first conditional. Right? You always use first conditional when you're not sure. When you use second conditional, it's always something that's not true. That's not true. Okay? All right, good. Okay. All right. Oh, we lost somebody, I think. Oh, Jenny's back. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so we're going to do some listening practice, okay? We're going to take some notes. All right, so do you all have a pencil and a paper?
Yes.
All right, this is in your Ventures Transitions book. If you have your Ventures Transitions book, it's going to be the beginning of, I think, chapter 7, maybe. But let me open it up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If I can find it here. Where is it? ¿Dónde está? Let's see here. Here we go. All right, good. So this is the chapter 7 in Ventures Transitions. So if you have that book, great. If you don't have the book, no problem. We are looking at people. All right, and here we have some workers here. What's this guy doing?
The electrician
Check
An
the,
electrician, and what's he doing?
is checking the meter.
Yeah.
meter.
Well, yeah, he's checking the meter. He's checking the. What do you call this little thing? Anybody know what you call that thing?
Meter?
This is the meter, and what about this thing that's open? The thing he's touching.
No.
The electricity.
That's called a fuse box. A fuse box, or sometimes we call it a breaker box.
Yes.
A breaker box or a fuse box. Yeah. And because all of your electricity has breaker switches, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So sometimes if I use my microwave and my heater at the same time, poof, the breaker goes off, right?
Yeah.
That little switch is called the breaker switch, right?
Yes.
All right. And what is the guy wearing? What is that white thing he's wearing?
He's a designer.
It's
He's a designer, no?
no. I'm still talking about picture number 1. What has he got on? What kind of hat? What's that hat? What do you call that hat?
Construction hat.
Construction hat. Usually we call it a
No,
hard
it's
hat.
electrician.
Hard hat, yeah.
A hard hat. A hard hat.
Hard hat.
A hard hat, right?
Okay.
And what's this orange thing he's wearing?
It's for some people so
Right. We call it a safety vest.
safety.
A safety vest. Right. So he's wearing a hard hat and a safety
Safety
vest.
vest.
He's wearing a hard hat and a safety vest, and he's checking the breaker box. Is he working by himself or is he working with others?
Working another.
He's working alone, right? All right. Now, what about these people? What do they look like they are doing?
This is a designer.
Yeah, it looks like they're looking at some
pictures.
pictures for a magazine or something. Yeah.
Mhm.
So are they working by themselves or together?
Together.
They're working with
Together.
partners, right? All right. And this picture here, what
It's in the class.
the classroom, these are students. Like we remember how we used to be in the classroom with our classmates? Those are the old days, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They're working together. They're doing a group project, right? They're studying together. And then here, what do we have here?
Doctors
It's a doctors and nurses
Doctors and nurses, and
and a patient.
in the
they're all
hospital.
wearing PPE. Do we know this word now? PPE. We've learned it,
No.
right? No.
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 PPE, personal protective equipment. That means the mask and the glasses and the hat. We call it PPE, personal protective equipment. Right? And are they working together or by themselves?
Together.
They're working together. So this lecture that we're going to hear is about working together. We're going to hear a lecture about working together. And we're going to take some notes. So if you don't have the book, go ahead and write down these topics for your note taking. We're going to find out what is the topic of the conversation, what is the definition, and why is it important? Why is it important for an organization? Why is it important for an individual? What are the benefits, right? Again, we have the first benefit is already written down here, but we have 4 total benefits. And what is the conclusion? What is true in the past and what is true today? Okay? No problems? Are we ready to take some notes? Everybody have a pencil and ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to turn off everybody's microphone and I'm going to play the sound. All right, so everybody's microphone's off so we can hear very clearly. Okay, nice and quiet now. All right, and I'm going to turn on the sound of the computer. And we're going to listen and see if we can fill out. This is about a 3-minute speech. I'm going to play the whole thing and see how much we remember and how much we hear, okay? And then we're going to look at the conditionals that we hear inside the speech. So while you're listening to the speech, you're going to hear a bunch of conditionals, okay? And I'm going to mute my microphone too because it's a little noisy over here because of the workers who are working in the bathroom right now.
Unit 7, Lesson A, page 63. Exercises 2A and 2B.
The topic of my talk today is teamwork. If you've ever had a job interview, chances are that the interviewer asked you what teamwork means to you, or whether you're a team player, right? Well, what is teamwork, and why is it important? Let's start with a definition. Teamwork means working together as a group or team. A long time ago, we only used this word to talk about sports, like a baseball team. But these days, it means any group of people who collaborate. I mean, who work and think together to accomplish a common goal. Just a few examples are a team of workers working to find a way to reduce their company's use of electricity, or a group of students working together to design a park, or a group of volunteers who are working on a plan to raise money for their children's school. Teamwork is important because it makes it easier to accomplish goals. Especially when you have a large project, it's easier and faster to complete the task when you have a team of people with different strengths and abilities working on different pieces of it. So teamwork benefits organizations but it can also benefit individuals. If you work as a team at your job or school, you will feel more invested in what you are doing because other people on your team are depending on you. Teamwork has other important benefits too. According to research, organizations that use teamwork have better employee and student involvement and reduced absenteeism, fewer people missing work or school because of stress or illness. Additionally, when people work together in a group, they learn valuable skills such as conflict resolution and how to come to a consensus or agreement. And workers or students involved in teamwork are more adaptable and flexible because they learn to work with people who have different work and study habits and styles. For these reasons, teamwork is an essential part of today's society, in both the workplace and in academic settings. Traditionally, American society has encouraged individuals to act independently in order to rise up in the world. But these days, more and more organizations are recognizing the value of people working together to reach common goals.
Unit 7.
All right. That was a lot of information, wasn't it?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to play each part carefully, and then we'll see if we can write these things down. Let's start with just the topic and the definition. Okay, I'm going to play that that part. I'm going to play just that part, the topic and the definition. Okay, so I'm going to turn off everybody's mic again, and we're going to do the topic and the definition only. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to do topic and definition.
Lesson A, page 63. Exercises 2A and 2B.
The topic of my talk today is teamwork. If you've ever had a job interview, chances are that the interviewer asked you what teamwork means to you, or whether you're a team player, right? Well, what is teamwork, and why is it important? Let's start with a definition. Teamwork means working together as a group or team. A long time ago,
All right, so let me share a blank piece of paper here so we can write things down. All right. Okay, let's see. Here we go. All right, everybody sees an empty piece of paper here? So we were looking for the topic and the definition. All right. What's the topic of this discussion?
Teamwork.
Teamwork, exactly. And what is the definition of teamwork?
Being working together or of the team.
People working together
As a group.
as
Or
a
As a
team
team or group.
or group. Everybody agree with the topic and the definition?
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to the page here and listen for the second part. All right, now we're listening for the importance for organizations and for individuals. Okay, we're going to listen for those things. So let me turn off the mics and we'll listen to that little section. Okay, here we go. Organizations and individuals, what is the importance?
we only use this word to talk about sports, like a baseball team. But these days, it means any group of people who collaborate. I mean, who work and think together to accomplish a common goal. Just a few examples are a team of workers working to find a way to reduce their company's use of electricity, or a group of students working together to design a park. or a group of volunteers who are working on a plan to raise money for their children's school. Teamwork is important because it makes it easier to accomplish goals. Especially when you have a large project, it's easier and faster to complete the task when you have a team of people with different strengths and abilities working on different pieces of it. So teamwork benefits organizations, but it can also benefit individuals. If you work as a team at your job or school, you will feel more invested in what you are doing because other people on your team are depending on you.
Okay, let me turn our microphones back on. And there we got why it's important. All right, so importance. All right, importance. What was the importance for organizations?
Because make easy a complement for the work.
Right. So it makes it easier to accomplish the goal. Why? Because, remember, what did they say?
Because they finish on time the work.
So because the people have different abilities, right?
Yes.
And can do different parts of the project, right? Right? It's important for organizations. This is importance for organizations. Oops. For organizations. It makes it easier to accomplish the goal because people have different abilities and can work on different parts of the project, right? So if Alejandra is good at drawing, she can do the design. If Saul is good at writing, he can write the copy. If Jareen is good at marketing, she can do the marketing. If Tomomi is good at organizing, she can be in charge of the whole project, etc. All right, but what about for individuals?
Individual.
Why was it important for individuals?
But it has a lot of benefits to work with the group.
Right, and why was it important? What did it say? You will do better work because how will you feel? What did it say? You will feel invested in the project. And others, what did they say about other workers? Are depending on you, right? You will do better work because you'll feel invested in the project and others are depending on you, right? If you do it by yourself, it's very easy not to do it. But if Alejandra and Tomomi are working as partners and Tomomi says, okay, I'll do the drawing and you write the story, and then one person doesn't do their job, they have let the other person down, right? So you'll do better work because others are depending on you, right? Okay, now we have 4 benefits we're looking for in the next part. 4 benefits we're looking for in this listening. Okay, let me see here. Where are we? Back to this story. Okay. All right, so here, I'm going to turn off the microphones again. Here we're looking for benefits, and we have, the first one is already done, increased student and employee involvement. But we're looking for benefit 2, benefit 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4. And that's in the next about 1 minute of this presentation. We're looking for 4 benefits of teamwork.
Teamwork has other important benefits too. According to research, organizations that use teamwork have better employee and student involvement and reduced absenteeism, fewer people missing work or school because of stress or illness. Additionally, when people work together in a group, they learn valuable skills such as conflict resolution and how to come to a consensus or agreement. And workers or students involved in teamwork are more adaptable and flexible because they learn to work with people who have different work and study habits and styles.
Okay, let me play that 1 minute one more time.
Especially when you have a large project, it's easier and faster to complete the task when you have a team of people with different strengths and abilities working on different pieces of it. So teamwork benefits organizations that use teamwork have better employee and student involvement and reduced absenteeism, fewer people missing work or school because of stress or illness. Additionally, when people work together in a group, they learn valuable skills such as conflict resolution and how to come to a consensus or agreement. And workers or students involved in teamwork are more adaptable and flexible because they learn to work with people who have different work and study habits and styles.
Okay. All right, let's go back to our paper here. Here we go. All right, and let's turn the microphones back on. Okay. All right. So what were our benefits? Okay. Benefit number one was increased involvement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Involvement. I said involvement. Let's try again. Involvement. Okay, increased involvement. Okay. What about number two? What did they say for number two? Something was reduced.
Reduce absenteeism.
Absenteeism. Right?
Absenteeism.
Yeah. Oops. If I spell it correctly. There we go. Absenteeism. Everybody know this word, absenteeism?
Yes.
No.
Well, we know the word absent, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Absent is an adjective, right?
Mhm.
Absenteeism is a noun, right? So somebody who is absent is an absentee, and absenteeism is the act of not showing up. So number one, people feel more involved. All right, number two, reduced absenteeism.
Mhm.
Number three,
Learn values.
learn skills, right?
Learn values and skills.
Learn valuable skills. And number four,
Adaptable.
become adaptable, right? Flexible and adaptable, right?
Mhm.
Very good. So those were the three things that were the benefits, right? You become more involved, you reduce your absenteeism, you learn valuable skills, and you become flexible and adaptable. Fantastic. Okay. All right. So we have one last part, I think. Let's go back to the story here and listen to that last 30 seconds of the presentation. Okay. So here we are. We're looking for the conclusion in the past and versus today. So let me turn off your microphones one last time, and we'll listen to the last part.
For these reasons, teamwork is an essential part of today's society, in both the workplace and in academic settings. Traditionally, American society has encouraged individuals to act independently in order to rise up in the world. But these days, more and more organizations are recognizing the value of people working together to reach common goals.
Okay, so let's take a look at document number 2. Okay, and turn everybody's microphone back on. Okay, all right. So they were talking about American society, right? United States society, and the conclusion about it has changed a little bit, right? In the past, what was true?
The people works alone.
Right. Individuals were encouraged to work on their own, to rise up, right? Right? Individuals were supposed to work by themselves. We're encouraged. I forgot my ED on my passive there. But now, what do they say is going on these days?
And this day is
More
very
organization recognize.
People recognize the value of working together, right? All right. The end. Okay, good. Now, let's take a look at the page in this book about the conditional, which is the next page in the book. I want to look at that before we go home today, or we're already home. I always say go home, but we're not going home. Before we log off, I have to have a new language. My language. Before we log off today, let's take a look at the second page in the book in this chapter, where we look specifically at those conditionals, and we'll see if we can make some sentences. Okay? Sounds good?
Yes.
Sounds good to me. All right, so let's do this one last thing here and do a new share. This is a very noisy class. We got the garbage truck outside now. It's Tuesday's class is always very noisy. All right, let's see here. Okay, here we go. All right, can everybody see the page again?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the next page of the book. If you have a book, this is on. Oops, what is this? Okay. Oops, did I skip over
Is the
it?
64 though? 64?
There we go. Unreal conditionals, page 64. You're right. Everybody can see it. Present unreal conditional. There we go. There we go. All right. It says here, the conditional consists of a dependent and a main clause. This is what we were looking at in our lesson, right? The dependent clause begins with the word if. The main clause uses would, could, or might. Remember, we were looking at all three in my examples. Would, could, might. If you're sure, would. If it's possible, could. If it's maybe, maybe not, might. So let's take a look here. If we had more time, we could do a better job, right? So in fact, we can't do a better job. We don't have enough time, so we can't do a good job. We could finish this project faster if we had more people, but we can't, right? Remember, could is the past form of can. Could is the past form of can, right? If I were you, I would talk to the boss. There's that were again, right? And notice the little note about formal English. In formal English, the form of be verb is were for all subjects. If I were you. In conversation, it's acceptable to say if I was or if she was. Like I said before, some people get lazy about saying if I were. For me, it sounds much better to say if I were. So you hear people say if I was or if today was Friday, but sounds nicer to say if today were Friday. All right, so let's do this practice together, and then this will be the last thing we do today. All right, what do we have here? We're looking for simple past and would, could, and might, right? Simple past and would, could, and might. All right, so it says, at ZZ Mattress Company, we don't work in teams. if we worked in teams, we might save time. Maybe, right? But the first part, simple past, right?
Mhm.
All right. Now in number 2, we have the if in the second position, right? So what do we say? We don't have enough space in our office. Maybe the workers
Would be.
would be more patient, right? Maybe the workers would be more patient if we
We had
had
more
more
space.
space. Exactly. Maybe the workers would be more patient if we had more space. Would be, had. Good. Number 3. My office mate talks on his cell phone all the time, right?
He could concentrate.
I could concentrate better if he
didn't talk
talked outside.
outside.
Yeah, I would use could on this one, right? I could concentrate better if he talked outside.
Okay.
All right. Number 4. Our manager is not a good communicator. If our manager, again, we have our be verb here. So what can we say? Were. If our manager were a better communicator,
We
we
wouldn't have.
trouble following directions. We wouldn't have, or maybe we might not have. All right. Again, if you're sure, would. If it's like 50-50, might. Depends on the situation. All right. Let's see. The next one, number 5. Jim's manager does not trust him. Jim would be more motivated. Would be more motivated if his manager
Could
trusted him, right? Or could would be okay too. Could trust it if his manager could trust him. If his manager trusted him. And we could also say maybe he might be more motivated. I'm not sure, right? Yeah, he might be more motivated. He would be. Remember, I say would be when I'm sure. I say might be when it's possible. All right. I'm sorry you're having problems with your team leader. If I what? If I were you, I would do what? I would join a different team. If I were you, I would join a different team. Exactly. If I were you, I would join a different team. All right. And number 7. Carmen does not work well in teams. She does not work well in teams. If I
Were her
manager,
I
wouldn't force her to work with other people. If I were her manager, I wouldn't force her to work with other people. Good. Let's look at the examples here, right? So for example, if I worked, I might say, there's answer number 1. Number 2, right? Maybe the workers would be more patient if they had more office space. Number 3, I could concentrate better if he talked outside. Number 4, if our manager were a better communicator, we wouldn't have problems following directions. Jim might be more motivated if his manager trusted him. Not for sure, but it's possible. Number 6, if I were the team leader, if I were you, I would join a different team. And number 7, if I were her manager, I wouldn't force her, or maybe you could say I would allow her to work with other people. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. No problems. Sounds good. So what was that? This is what we call second conditional, right? Second conditional. Second conditional. Let's finish by watching the little video from the Ventures Transitions book. I know not everybody has that book, so let's watch the little video to finish up today, and then we'll be done with our lesson. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the microphones, and we'll watch the little video to finish up today. All right, and let me turn on the sound. The sound is on. So here we go.
Unreal conditionals. Unit 7, Lesson B. The present unreal conditional. Watch and listen. Use the present unreal conditional to talk about imaginary situations in the present or to give advice. Real situation.
We don't have enough time. We can't do a good job.
Unreal conditional.
If we had more time, we could do a good job.
Conditional sentences consist of a dependent clause and a main clause. The dependent clause begins with if. Dependent clause.
If we had more time,
Main clause.
we could do a good job.
The main clause uses would, could, or might, plus base form of verb. The dependent clause uses the past tense. Dependent clause.
If you copied the team on emails,
Main clause.
it would be helpful.
In formal English, the form of the be verb in the dependent clause is were for all subjects. In conversation, it is acceptable to say, if I was, or if he, she was. Real situation.
Our machinery isn't modern. We can't produce more units per month.
Unreal conditional.
If our machinery were modern, we could produce more.
Real situation.
Our work is stressful. Employee relations aren't good.
Unreal conditional.
If our work weren't stressful, employee relations would be better.
Real situation.
The team members do not work in the same room. Communication isn't good.
Unreal conditional.
Communication might be better if the team worked in the same room.
Real situation.
We don't understand each other. We don't do team building activities.
Unreal conditional.
We'd understand each other if we did team building activities.
Real situation.
Our team doesn't meet often. We aren't very productive.
Unreal conditional.
If our team met more often, we would be more productive.
Check your understanding. Look at the picture. Complete the sentence. Use would and the verbs in parentheses to make a present, unreal conditional sentence.
Okay, turn everybody's mic back on and we'll finish this up here. All right. Actually, okay, there we go. All right, hold on one second. Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to turn off the sound because whenever the sound is on, we always hear a lot of scratchy noises and it's not good. Okay, so let me turn off the computer sound and then we'll just watch the video and talk about it. Okay, sound off. Okay, it's gonna be much better. Okay, so let's just take a couple of minutes and answer these questions. All right. Okay, everybody can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at this one. What could we say? If our team what?
Meet more often.
Met more often. We would be more productive, right? If we met more often, we would be more productive. Met and would be. Excellent. All right, let's try another one. Let's use might this time.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, we're going to use might. What are we going to say? Oops, I forgot to push the button. All right, pretend you didn't see that. All right, communication might be better if the team worked in the same room. All right, let's try this one. We're going to use we're going to use would. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, let's use would. All right, here we go. So what can we say? If our work were not
Weren't
stressful, we employee relations
would be better.
would be better. Very good. What about this next one? Oh, we already had this one, but again, our team would be, if our team met more often, we would be more productive.
Mhm.
All right, now we're going to use might. Okay, communication
Maybe
might be better if we worked in the same team,
worked in the same room.
right? It might be better if we worked in the same room. Good. All right. How about this one? She
would call
She would fall asleep if she
if she didn't drink.
drink coffee. Exactly. She would fall, or she might fall asleep if she didn't drink coffee. Either way, might or would. All right. Could. We're going to use could in this next one. Let's use could for this last one. All right. What can we say here?
Our machine was were modern.
We're modern.
We could produce
more.
More.
Exactly. If our machinery were modern, we could produce more. And what about this one? We could understand each other better if we did more team building
activities.
Mm-hmm. And then once again, here's your review, right? And this is what we just had in the book, so you already seen that before. Okay, good. All right, so that was conditional number 2, the second conditional. Now, in your class tomorrow, I think Ms. Aguirre is going to talk about third conditional, and then we're going to review everything these next 2 weeks. So these next 2 weeks are all about reviewing conditionals. And like I said, I'm going to give you a test about everything we had in April that's going to be ready by this afternoon. So I'm going to give you a message when the test is ready, and you'll do it on Schoology. Okay? It's going to be about all of that: the tag questions, the indirect questions, the so and to and either and neither, and the neither and nor, not only but also, all of that stuff. Right? So there's going to be a big April review that will be in your Schoology page today. Now I need to run and go pay my bill because the guy was fixing my pipes, but I'm going to see you all on Thursday, and I'm going to send you a message today about the test, okay?
Okay.
All right, sounds good?
All right.
All right, I have to say bye-bye.
Bye. See you. Thank you, Mr. Webb.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.